Yo, what is poppin' YouTube? Dom Richie here, back on the Shuffle Squad YouTube channel, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Poppy. I pulled Poppy this morning out of what pack is this? Out of an Obsidian Flames pack. So goes pretty hard, I can't lie. Now the World Championships has just wrapped up, so we got a lot to talk about. If you did tune into my last tier list, you will know that I did rate very highly on both Iron Thorns and Roaring Moon, and they were in the finals, so that was pretty cool. I did say that Iron Thorns was like my number 1, number 2 play for the event because it was very good, and it turned out to be very, very good. Now, let's just get right into it and see what's kind of happening right now. And as a general rule, Arceus is still probably not great. I still think Armarouge is the only viable Arceus deck to be playing, just because like Armarouge is pretty cool. Arceus is still consistent, but it's probably like a very niche deck. We didn't see any Arceus really do much at the World Championships. I actually don't know if there was like any Arceus at all. But in general, like Arc Armarouge, the matchup spread isn't there right now to justify playing it, right? There's a lot of hostility in the meta for a deck that doesn't do anything turn 1 besides attach pass. Like Roaring Moon bodies you, the Loyal 3 bodies you, Raging Bolt bodies you. Like everything that's attacking turn 1 is just kind of bad for you, I guess. Like I think if you were to play this deck, I think it could be cool, but it's probably just got a not great matchup spread. Arctina, definitely don't play this right now. There's just literally no reason to. Initially, we were like, oh, Charizard's going to be high S tier, so Arctina might become good again, but Arctina is still not good. Banette did see a little bit of play at the World Championships and did see a day 2. I think Banette is probably just another C tier deck where it's like, you could play this and you could probably do okay with it, right? It's like, yeah, it might be okay. You'll catch people off guard. You got to know every line into every matchup. You got to know what is happening where. It's a very high skill deck, where it might not seem too high skill expressive, but like it's a lot of knowledge based stuff happening. I think Banette is like overall a cool deck. I don't know if it's the best deck to be playing, but I think it is like a solid choice if you're very confident in playing it and if you've played it a lot. That being said, if you haven't played much Banette, I probably wouldn't go towards Banette just because like it's just not great to pick it up and play it. Blissey's probably bad. Well, not probably bad. Blissey is just bad. It hasn't seen any success at all. And Blissey, like, 180 is just not enough to do anything right now. And a lot of stuff can swing that 300 damage. So just don't play Blissey right now. Snorlax still remains pretty solid, I think. I would say Snorlax kind of flopped at Worlds, but I still think it's probably really, really good to be playing. A lot of decks are playing Canceling Cologne, so they get that extra retreat. I mean, like, as decks are teching Cologne for stuff like Thorns, it's gonna get a little bit more, like, bad for Snorlax. Like, Snorlax is still probably fine. It's probably just a B tier deck right now, though. I just don't think there's any, like, Thorns is gonna get more popular, and it's gonna body you. Decks are gonna start playing more Canceling Colognes. That's gonna be kind of rough for you a little bit. And now Chien-Pao. Now, Chien-Pao did see a top 16 thanks to Lucas Zing. Everybody was a hater on Chien-Pao. I think I put Chien-Pao in B tier last time, but I think I said it was like I think it was still a solid play. I think Chien-Pao is also another B tier deck with Snorlax. We're not really going to order B tier. Just over the fact that like there's a lot of stuff that's going to go in B tier because there's a lot of decks. I think like Chien-Pao is probably okay. Like, if Charizard with Dusknoir kind of lowers in popularity and just regular straight Charizard keeps getting better, like towards build, I think Chien-Pao stays very strong. But I just don't I don't really see a point for playing Chien-Pao at the moment. If you're good with Chien-Pao, play Chien-Pao just because it's always going to be like that, right? If you're one-tricking a deck and you're very, very good at it, you're just going to do better than if you played another random bad deck. And the same's kind of said for Lost Box, where like Lost Box did see some day 2 at Worlds, but like I don't think Lost Box did anything immaculate. I think it was just okay at Worlds, which like is fine. We all kind of expected that. Nobody was sitting here like, oh, Lost Box is winning Worlds. It's probably another B tier deck, which is unfortunate because Lost Box has always been like a high tier deck. So seeing it all in the mediocrity of B tier, and B tier might even be a little bit like, I don't know, it might be a little high for Lost Zone Box right now, but with Regidrago coming around and just absolutely bodying you, it's hard to justify playing Lost Zone Box at all, right? And then next we do have Dialga. Dialga is also probably just doesn't have any meta position whatsoever. I think Dialga is probably another C tier deck. It's just like, there's no reason to be playing Dialga. Chien-Pao is not that big. So it's like, why would I play Dialga if Chien-Pao wasn't that big? Charizard is not as big as we thought. I'm not sure any of your other matchups of the popular decks are like great. Raging Bolt's probably not great. You don't really need abilities, so your Iron Thorns matchup actually could be pretty solid. Not being able to conceal cards might suck because you're not drawing, but I think that's okay. Diplin, still D tier. Deck kind of sucks. If Roaring Moon gets really popular, Diplin could be cool. Like I'll be straight up about that. Is that Diplin, like, obviously you're auto beating Roaring Moon, so that's cool, but I doubt Roaring Moon will get like I doubt it'll get to like 5+% play rate at like regionals and stuff. Maybe it will again, I don't know. It did just get second at Worlds, but like, it's kind of tough for me to say, yeah, I think Roaring Moon's just going to be really big, because like, why would you not play Raging Bolt? Like, Roaring Moon does make sense. It's probably a little bit more consistent. It gets through Iron Thorns a little bit better, but I think Raging Bolt is probably still just going to be the better turbo deck. Now, another turbo deck that we did see take a huge surprise at the World Championships is Miraidon. Now, I am putting Miraidon in A tier for the fact that it is a very, very good Regidrago matchup, and I think that's honestly a really big deal. Just like, Regidrago was 26% or 27% of day 2 meta share. Like, if you're over a quarter of the field, if you're taking like a very good matchup into that, you're probably just a solid deck. Your poor matchup is Raging Bolt. Iron Thorns can be kind of hard, but it's winnable. Charizard can be kind of hard, but it's winnable. And then everything else is like a solid matchup. Gardevoir is still really easy, and I think Gardevoir will probably stay pretty popular. So I think Miraidon is just overall fine in A tier. I think it's a really good play. It's a consistent deck. I think Jesse's list is very, very solid. And then just moving forward, we do have Dragapult. Now, Miraidon did come back in a format to beat Dragapult, actually. So that is funny. Dragapult is still... I think if you're going to play Dragapult, I think probably just play Regidrago. Like, Dragapult with Zard might be cool. Lost on Dragapult is bad. Where's that deck at? I think it's in here. Yeah, Lost on Dragapult's just bad. Like, if you're playing a Dragapult-based deck, just play Regidrago. It's just better in every way. You have more versatility. You've only got, like, 30 or 40 less HP. I believe Dragapult is 320, so yeah, you're 40 less HP. There's just no reason not to play Regidrago over Dragapult. Spathra is still bad. Gardevoir did see a big hit in play rate. Or not play rate, in like conversion rate. It was okay at Worlds, but like, I don't know, it wasn't what everybody was expecting when everybody's like, oh, it's going to be the best deck in the format, it's going to win Worlds, it missed top 8. And like, that happens, right? Like, NAIC, it was 6 out of the top 8 spots. But like, I just think Gardevoir is probably just an A tier deck right now. Your Miraidon matchup being kind of shaky and Miraidon getting really popular is probably not great. Like, overall, the deck is still fine. Fundamentally, it's really good. It's fairly consistent. It's a little bit slow. Like, the meta is a little hostile for decks like Gardevoir. And another hostile deck is Gouging Fire. Probably don't play this. It's like the worst turbo deck. I don't know if it's better or worse than the Loyal 3. I think, like, Roaring Moon is just better than the Loyal 3. So I'm going to put Loyal 3 in D tier. Not because I think it's as bad as a Spathra in all these decks. I think it's probably better than most of the C tier decks. But I just think there's, like, it's a worse version of Roaring Moon, so why would I play that, right? Another deck that is starting to pick up in popularity a little bit is that Greninja EX, which is still probably C-tier deck. I shouldn't have to explain Greninja too much. Like, yeah, it's a quick search every turn, but like 170 damage isn't a lot. And you have a lot of really low HP basics that are just getting absolutely bodied. Like, if you hit Regidrago and they like Cologne a Manaphy, you're just cooked. Like, you have nothing to do. Everything does have abilities right now, so Frostlass is kind of cool. You take a really, really good Iron Thorns matchup. Well, obviously, because you're a fighting type that needs 1 energy. So you're one-shotting those Iron Thorns. Like, the deck has legs, and I think when people figure out lists, I think it'll be kind of cool. Speaking of Quad Thorns, here's Quad Thorns here. I actually think Quad Thorns becomes a worse play after it won Worlds. And now everybody might get mad at me for saying that because like, oh, it just won Worlds. It was so good. What do you mean? It's like, yes, it did just win the World Championships. However, we do have to think about the fact that Quad Thorns is quite easily counterable. in the fact that Raging Bolt can just put in a Flutter Mane. Everything can just play Cologne. Like, Charizard can play Cologne and then Infernal Rain, and your Thorns is just cooked, right? Like, everything can just tech for you. Gardevoir can just play Flutter Mane against you. Like, Lugia can play Flutter Mane and then you lose. Like, everyone can tech for Iron Thorns really easily. And, like, with it just winning Worlds, it's worth it to just waste, not even waste it. Like, play the slot of the tech that just helps auto win the matchup, right? Like, if I'm Raging Bolt and I play Canceling Cologne against Iron Thorns, what are they doing? Because they're not crushing hammering away 4 of my energies in a turn. I just go Teal Dance 3 times, and then I'm just like Sawda 2 energies. Like, it's not a fun time if you're a Quad Thorns going into this format because people are teching for it. I think it's still okay. People still won't respect it because it's Quad Thorns. So, like, it's still an okay play. Cups and Challenges is probably still great, but, like, going into Baltimore, I'm not sure Quad Thorns is the hugest play. Kingdra is never a huge play. A deck that it did see success. Actually, more success than Gardevoir, more success than Charizard is Lugia V-Star. I think Lugia V-Star, with the rise of Miraidon and Iron Thorns, might be getting a little bit worse, but you can just include that Flutter to help your Iron Thorns matchup. I think Lugia is still an A-tier deck, okay? We did see Rahul unfortunately beat Zach in that win and in on stream. So it was pretty tragic. I can't lie. Michelle and I were sitting there tearing up a little bit. We're like, wow, can't believe that happened. But you know what? Lugia did Lugia things. It drew well and it played well. And yeah, it didn't actually end up in the top 8, but it did end up in the top cut. So that's kind of like, that's still a big accomplishment. Like, you top cut the World Championships with not only like a regular Lugia, like not a regular Lugia build, right? Lugia has legs. Glosso Giratina probably doesn't have legs still. Like, I just don't know why people would play this right now. And there's going to be people on Twitter and people in the comments like, oh, Lost Zone Giratina is so good. No, it's not. It's just not that good. Like, if you're going to be attacking with Giratina, play Regidrago. Regidrago literally is just better. It's just better. Lost Zone Engine is not good right now, especially Giratina, because you're not playing Manaphy most of the time. Like, yeah, you can include Manaphy, but like, you're already really, like, you're a fairly slow deck. You're Abyss Seeking to being knocked out. Like, it's not a fun time. Now, Roaring Moon here, I still think Roaring Moon's a very good play. I think Roaring Moon might actually be like a high B, low A tier deck. I still don't know if it has the legs that the other decks do, like Miraidon, like Lugia, like Gardevoir. I know it did make a deeper run than all those decks. But at the same time, like, I'm not too high on Roaring Moon. I think it's good, obviously. It's the highest of B tier. I think, like, if I were to order B tier, it would probably be the highest B tier deck. I think it's probably a better play than Thorns, just because, like, everybody's teching for Thorns. You can't really tech for Roaring Moon. What are you going to do? Throw Mist Energy in your deck? Like, Roaring Moon seems good. It's a turbo deck. Turbo decks have always been good. And then we do have this Ancient Box. Now, Ancient Box seems to be like a very good play going into this format. Obviously, you're a single prize deck that fairly quickly can be trading 1 prizers for 2 prizers. You're a pretty consistent deck. Your Gardevoir matchup can be kind of shaky, but, like, it seems pretty solid. Like, there's so many matchups that I'm like, wow, Ancient Box has a really good spread right now. I would not be surprised. Like, I'm actually putting Ancient Box up high B tier, probably worse than Roaring Moon, but, like, I think Ancient Box is very, very good, especially going into Baltimore. I think Ancient Box is a very good play. Like, probably would be one of my top picks if I were going to Baltimore, which I'm not, but if I was, it'd be one of my top picks. Like, obviously, Regidrago can be a little bit shaky, but I think everything else in general is pretty good. Raging Bolt's pretty good. Miraidon is pretty solid. Quad Thorns, obviously, is pretty good. Like, there's just nothing wrong with playing Ancient Box right now. And then Regidrago is still S tier. We saw the huge conversion rate. We saw the huge numbers of people that played it. We saw it absolutely dominate the top 8. And then it just hit shaky matchups in top 8, which happens, right? I shouldn't need to talk about Regidrago too much. It's ridiculously strong. Trifrost is good. Being able to turn to Dragapult very consistently is very good. Being able to Goodra is good. Like, there's so much about this deck that is so strong. And then we have Sablezard. Probably don't play Sablezard. Sablezard probably just seems worse than Lost Zone Box. I can't lie. Kyurem probably just hurts you even more. And then Turbo Hands. So this is an interesting deck. I'm putting it in C tier because I know it's not great, but at the same point, I'm like, could be kind of cool. Could be a cool play. Like, obviously, you have no, like, great matchups. You beat Iron Thorns, so that's an interesting one. But like overall, like you really don't need to be playing Turbo Hands right now. It's probably just not good. We already talked about Dragapult, so we'll leave it down here. Pitch Control. Pitch Control is another B tier deck. A tier is kind of hard to put Pitch Control in. We didn't see too much Pitch Control do well at Worlds. I did see a lot of people posting, yeah, I played Pitch Control to Worlds and went 1-3 drop. I'm like, nice. Like, obviously, they're like, I didn't go to Worlds, so I can't, like, sit here and say anything. But, like, I just don't think... I thought Pitch Control was going to make a deep run, personally. I don't think it was meant to be. There's just too many shaky matchups for it right now. Zard Pult, I think, is better than regular Dragapult. I think it's still probably just a B tier deck. The 1-1 Dragapult line, or the 1-1 Charizard line, like, whatever way you want to play it, you could play Dragapult and Charizard, or Charizard and Dragapult. I don't really think it matters. Both seem very, very good. Just add some versatility to the deck that just playing straight Charizard doesn't have. Just playing straight Dragapult doesn't have. Charizard's a great late game sweeper. Dragapult's a great early game attacker. Like, it just seems solid. Lost Goo is another deck that I'm like, probably not great. It's probably just a C tier deck. I thought Lost Goo might have actually made a deep run this weekend. It didn't. Same reason Giratina didn't. Same reason Lost Zone Box didn't. Lost Zone Box is kind of dead. And then Roaring Moon to Dunsparce. Probably don't play this deck either. I think straight Roaring Moon is just better. Initially, like, the Dunsparce Moon seemed good, but it doesn't anymore. I think it was just good in a meta we didn't know. Charizard is still a good deck. I think it's still just A tier, though. Like, A tier, it's probably the best A tier. It's kind of tough. Like, I want to say Charizard is really good. I think Charizard, Gardevoir, and Lugia and Regidrago are the top 4 decks in the format, and then I think Raging Bolt is number 5. Right? Raging Bolt actually might even be higher than that. I think Raging Bolt is very good going into the next format, like going into Baltimore, going into Cups. Like, just bodying Regidrago is huge. Charizard seems good. It doesn't seem like great like it did. People are cutting the Dust Noir. I think if I were to play Charizard, I'd be playing Mokizard. Just because binding Mochi, it allows like a lot of those early game numbers to be hit way easier. Like 220 is a lot. Or like 180 might not get you there. Right, and you're not giving up that prize card that Dusclops makes you give up. So yeah, this is where I've kind of landed at for right now. Let me know what you guys think down below. And as always, check out our sponsors in the description below. I hope you guys have a great day. It's always a pleasure hopping on the TSS YouTube channel and talking with you guys. Well, I guess I'm not even really talking to you guys. I'm talking to myself. I'm losing my mind, guys. But yeah, I appreciate you guys coming out. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later. Peace out and have a great one.
Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.